From glittering mosaics to sacred icons, Byzantine art is deeply rooted in history, religion, and tradition. But to fully understand its significance, let's first explore the empire behind it. What's Byzantium? To answer that, we need to ask two questions. Where was it? And when? Byzantium, later known as Constantinople, was strategically positioned between two worlds, linking the Mediterranean to the Black Sea and Europe to the Indian Ocean. The Byzantine Empire spanned modern-day Greece and Turkey for most of its history, but at its peak, it also controlled parts of Italy, Sicily, Spain, North Africa, the Balkans, Crimea, and the Middle East. The Byzantine Empire lasted for an impressive 1,123 years, from 330 to 1453. Over 11 centuries, 112 emperors ruled Byzantium, one-third of them through usurpation. It all began in 324 when Rome was under attack in the west. Emperor Constantine decided to move the capital eastward, choosing Byzantium at the Bosporus Strait for its strategic advantages. Under Constantine, the empire officially embraced Christianity, shaping its culture and governance. Despite repeated invasions from barbarians in the 5th century, Arabs and Slavs in the 7th, and Western Crusaders in the 12th, the empire always managed to recover, maintaining its influence. The stability of the empire relied on 5 pillars: finance, justice, diplomacy, the military, and the church. Religion wasn't just part of Byzantine life. It was inseparable from its institutions, deeply influencing art and society. However, by the 15th century, the empire had shrunk dramatically, holding only Constantinople and a few Aegean islands. In 1453, the city fell to Mehmed II's 300 ships, while the Byzantines could only muster 12. Byzantine art inherited techniques and styles from the Greco-Roman world, particularly from centers like Alexandria, Antioch, and Ephesus. However, its aesthetic was profoundly shaped by Christianity. Unlike Roman art, which depicted everyday life, Byzantine art was entirely focused on religious themes. Byzantine painting featured 4 primary techniques: mosaics, frescoes, icons, and miniatures. Mosaics were the most prestigious, decorating sacred spaces alongside more affordable frescoes. Every element of Byzantine church decoration had symbolic meaning, with each scene carefully positioned to enhance its message. Italy, especially Ravenna, houses some of the best-preserved Byzantine mosaics. Once the capital of the Western Roman Empire in the 5th century, and later a key Byzantine stronghold, Ravenna boasts stunning examples of this sacred art. Icons played a unique role in Byzantine religious life. The portable wooden panel icon was a distinctly Byzantine invention. Critics often describe Byzantine art as stiff, frozen, and unchanging. Yet its influence spread widely, thanks to Constantinople's position between East and West. There were 2 main types of icons: didactic icons, which depicted biblical scenes, the Virgin Mary's life, and saints' heroic deeds. The most famous series was the Dodecaorton, featuring 12 key religious events like the Annunciation, the Nativity, the Crucifixion, and the Resurrection. These icons often decorated the upper section of church iconostasis, the ornate partition separating the nave from the sanctuary. And portrait icons. These showed sacred figures, especially the Virgin Mary. Some were even believed to have been painted by Saint Luke himself. The goal of these icons was to preserve the sacred appearance of Christ, Mary, and the saints, so artists had to replicate them exactly. This explains why very old Byzantine icons often retained an archaic hieratic style. Originally, icons depicting saints or martyrs were placed on their tombs to help pilgrims visualize their presence. Later, these portrait icons moved into churches, where they were placed on stands or incorporated into the iconostasis. By the 6th century, they were found everywhere, in churches, homes, becoming objects of veneration, almost like relics. This widespread devotion led to the Iconoclastic Controversy, a period of fierce debate over whether icons should be worshipped. After much conflict, the Church officially declared that images of Christ, the Virgin Mary, and the saints contained divine energy and could aid in salvation. However, Byzantine icon painters weren't given much creative freedom. Every aspect of an icon, composition, posture, clothing, attributes, and colors was strictly codified. Artists were more like copyists than creators, ensuring the continuity of sacred imagery. This rigid tradition explains why most Byzantine icon painters remain anonymous. Byzantines, much like the ancient Egyptians, were deeply committed to preserving artistic traditions. But they didn't forget the artistic advancements of earlier centuries. Greco-Roman art provided a vast repertoire of poses and compositions that were adapted to Christian themes. Despite its stylized, otherworldly quality, Byzantine art wasn't devoid of technical mastery. Look closely at a Byzantine Virgin Mary icon, and you'll notice the carefully shaded drapery, subtle facial modeling, and the elegant curvature of her throne. The observation of nature, so prominent in classical Greek art, wasn't abandoned. It was simply subordinated to religious clarity. So while Byzantine art might seem rigid or repetitive at first glance, it was deeply meaningful and influential. Its rich symbolism, divine focus, and meticulous craftsmanship shaped the art of the Eastern Orthodox world for centuries. What do you think of Byzantine art? Let me know in the comments. And if you're interested in more history and art videos, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more. Thanks for watching.